Alright, this is where I'm at. I've got these ground out really good. This little scratch up here ended up being really big. So I started grinding down into these, and this one was just huge. Basically what I did with the grinder is just grind out anything that was fabric-y until it got to a point where it was rigid around the edges, and so that's how far out I went. And then I went down basically until I started hitting foam, or you can kind of see the metal of the internal structure. So these little frames go up to the rudder post over here. So in here I stopped when I actually got into the foam core, way down in there, foam core there, and then here I stopped when I started hitting the rudder post. I didn't want to mess with the rudder post. Yeah, and then over here same deal, and then there was a crack that ended up going all the way along the top. So in here I got a little syringe last night, and I injected epoxy as much as I could get to absorb. I sprayed it in there, squirted it in, and when it stopped absorbing, I let it sit and settle for a minute, and then I'd squirt more on the top just to get as much in as I could. And I was really surprised that it didn't really actually take very much. I mixed up way too much epoxy, and then I just kind of hit all of these spots last night because it was supposed to rain, and I just didn't want any water getting inside, so it was just kind of like a little barrier coat. And I'll just sand all these back down a little bit just to take kind of the sheen off, so so the repair epoxy will actually fit. So to fill this void, what I am doing first of all is going to fill this hole in and kind of build these two spots back up around the rudder post to get as much of an even coat as I can, or an even layer as I can. So I cut all these little pieces, and I'm gonna end up breaking these apart into just kind of, breaking them apart into just like a little fabric-y mess. That'll make like a really thick, I mean, it's almost like I could just use like a thickening agent for the epoxy, I guess, and make like a paste, but I don't know. Somebody taught me how to rip up fiberglass like this. It was actually the yard manager at in Schmo, New York. I can't remember the guy's name. Joe from Schmo. Yeah, in New York. That was his name. Anyway, so I was like filling a hole inside the hull of the Privateer 35 there, and he was like, "Look, just get some mat like this and break it up and create like a little paste, basically." So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do here. It creates a nice little strong filler, and I'll stick as much of that in there, pack it in really good, really tight, and kind of build it up as I go on both sides. Should be one coat of that, and then I'm gonna save some other strips that I'm gonna cut for these ones, and I'll hit these with just some flat strips to build those up a couple of layers to get it kind of more even with this, and then I'll use filler over the top of that. So that's my plan, and then once I get these 3 sections done, I'll get some filler and start hitting these, and I should get a decent amount done on this today, so that's awesome. Yeah, I've got the filler and the caps. Yeah, it was a little intimidating. I was definitely putting it off, but after I got it going, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I guess I was just nervous that I hadn't prepped something out right, just didn't, I don't know. But yeah, I sanded everything down really good, wiped everything clean with acetone. Yeah, just made sure there were no shiny parts of the epoxy, so everything would get a really good grip. Yeah, just everything is just really prepped out good, I think. It is. Yeah, I really went over it numerous times until I felt really comfortable. Yeah, then I mixed up just one, it's the West epoxy system, so 1 squirt of each, and then put in the filler, and yeah, mixed it up till it was just about peanut butter consistency, and then kind of filled in the holes with the putty knife. Really these are kind of superficial. They don't go into it, so it's not a structural thing. I'm just trying to make sure it's got a good bond and fills out nice. So yeah, I think I'm overthinking it. I just want to make sure it's really done right. So yeah, these seem to be setting up really good. I did the other rudder too, and the other rudder has the fiberglass on it that I did earlier. Yeah, and then that one has got that kind of like filler stuff I was talking about, where I just broke up the fiberglass mat, and that was kind of a pain to get in there. In hindsight, that was probably not the right move. I think a filler probably would have been better for that. But I don't know, I mean, I stuck the stuff in there and tried to jam it in with a screwdriver and stuff because I don't want any air gaps or any voids in there. And I really worked it in good with a little piece of wood that, you know, it was like perfect shape. But at the end of the day, the best way to make sure that was in there good was just to use my finger, which I didn't want to do, but it really smoothed it out nice, and I was able to feel that there was no air in there, and it was kind of pushed in nice. And so yeah, so I feel confident about that now. That's in there good. It's filling all the gaps. It's hardened up nice. And then I'll keep building it back up, but I didn't want to put in too much at once. And then this side I just didn't mess with. You can't really see. It's very dark. I don't know. This is just awesome. You know, I like pulling into the boat early in the morning. This is kind of fun, like having a boat in a boatyard and doing work, and you kind of get to start recognizing the faces of the guys around the yard. I mean, I recognize them anyway, you know, but now I don't know. It's just, you just kind of get in the groove of what's going on in the yard, I guess. And I don't know, it's cool, you know. It's I think back to working on the boat in New York in 2007, and yeah, it was just cool hanging out in the yard. And now I think it's going to be one of those times where I look back and it's like, yeah, man, I had the boat in the hard, and there was a timeline. I had to get in the water, I had to get things done, but at the same time, it wasn't too much of a rush. It wasn't too pressured. It's just pretty comfortable. And yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I like it. So here's where I'm at. Kind of got the last coat here on the front, a little bit on the bottom. Sanded down a lot of these areas, and they're looking pretty good. I should finish with everything I have going on the rudders tomorrow. I'm ready. I'm ready to have the rudders put back into the boat and to get the sail drives painted. Would be, you know, yeah. It'll be nice to be ready to go in the water and not have these projects that, you know, it makes me feel like we're so far from ready. And once we get in the water, I think that's going to feel pretty good. We'll be able to start bringing stuff down to the boat and getting it packed up and ready to go, and that's going to feel good, like we're making real progress on heading out, setting out. So yeah, but it's getting there.